Loud car going by outside. Hello, people. What did I do last GetRect stream? I don't know. I probably programmed. Let me get a fresh release compiler. What are we doing today? Well, so this GetRect widget library that we have has to date just been like a side thing that I was working on to like see how I wanted to do it to make like a relatively high quality immediate mode UI without making it complicated. Because when you start doing immediate mode UIs, there's like a tension between complexity and volume of code and like quality level, because immediate mode UI sort of started as like what's sort of the minimal thing that we can do to put stuff on the screen. So this has been kind of a side project since I started earlier this year, but the reason why I started it was because I felt the need to do something better for the UI in the editor, right, for the game. So, at some point, we need to start replacing that code. And what I want to do is just like link this module in and sort of replace it piece by piece. You know, like here's this set of controls in the editor. Let's switch that over. Here's this set of controls, right? So all that makes sense. But to do that, you need to have enough functionality. You need to have all the functionality that we use in the editor, or at least enough of it to start that process in this thing. And then I mean, there's many factors, right? It's complicated, but you just kind of have to start doing the steps. So I don't know whether we will actually start linking this into the game today. We might. But what I've been doing is the set of things that are necessary to set that up. So like the past couple days, I was working on like, how does occlusion work? That's what we did on the last stream here. Like how do widgets occlude other widgets? You know, is there an active widget system so other widgets can go away? Like right now I'm restructuring the files just so that they're a little cleaner. And sort of doing a more formal, better version of what the editor kind of does in an ad hoc way, right? Anytime you go from a program that has a hard-coded way of doing things and you're trying to put that into a general module of code that people can use, there's always a little bit of, you end up facing all these issues, like how much do we abstract these things? Do we get all computer science class about them? Or do we do something very simple and pragmatic? And so just, you know, doing those things and making sure that they happen. Are we seeing the wrong screen? Oh no, yeah, you're seeing the wrong screen. It's fine, because I didn't start typing yet. There we go. You're seeing your own chat. Did you work under other people in the past? How do you deal with not agreeing with their creative decisions? I mean, if you work at a job, then part of a job is that you have a role and you're not making all the decisions, right? And so that's just part of the agreement, right? And if you disagree too heavily, I mean, you can always give advice to the people making the decisions, but like maybe they don't want your advice, right? So you just have to decide if you're happy with that role, right? And, or if you want to go do your own thing, basically, because when you do your own thing, you can make the creative decisions, or you can delegate them to people who you think will make good creative decisions, but that's very different from working a job. Can I show the changelog? I might have to heat up a piece of pizza right here, but this is sort of where, I mean, this is a compiler changelog, but we sort of did this stuff lately. But especially, I mean, there's a thing like on games, you know, you have big creative departments, you have lots of programmers, and on games, the programmers, I don't know, like sometimes they want to start making creative decisions and it just doesn't work that way. I mean, the bigger the game project is, the less well that works, right? It's like just you gotta understand. I mean, every team is different though too, so I can't make blanket statements about what belongs to what job description and what belongs to another job description. Is there a trade-off between making it useful versus making it general? What I'm trying to do is keep it simple while making it general. Because I do think that one terrible place that code bases go is they go off and they just start to have a lot of they just start to bloat up very much in ways that are maybe not useful to most users of the code base, right? And so I'm just trying to figure that out for this particular problem set. Like where do we draw the exact line? Oh, hello, rating people. Yeah, so if I compile the example, so, you know, we have a bunch of stuff in here. So this is sort of the code base that we're looking at right now. And one of the things I want to do today is add one or two more widgets here. I want to add a sub window kind of thing that's like a thing that you can move around, right? And maybe it'll have a little bit of resize on it, like a resize widget scenario. Yeah. And then once we have that, maybe like a text. I started doing like just a text display, you know. But when you do that, you want to be able to test things like reflowing the text as the width changes and, you know, all that kind of thing. So having a little resizable, a manually resizable sub window. I guess we could actually put it in one of these if we wanted to. And maybe we will also do that as a test, but we need the sub windows to port over the editor that we have right now, so I'm going to add them anyway. So that's where we're at. Is it immediate mode or retain mode? It's immediate mode. Anyway, so that's where we're at. I am going to start some water and warm up a pizza because I haven't eaten anything yet today, hardly. And then we will, well, I guess I just compiled the example, which means the file restructuring that I did worked. So let's actually commit that. It's just, it looks like a lot of changes, but like it's deleted and then added and all that. So there we go. And then I guess I'm going to exit my Emacs because when you move a lot of files around, one of the worst things you can do is like start editing a file that's like the old version and you moved it. All right. So there's our change log back. And now we have these subfolders, system and widgets, and we can go into widgets. There we go. Now, one of the things I might do is, let's look at the state. Wait, what? No, system. Okay, so this is just loading all the files. This has states for all the different widgets, and I'm sort of thinking that I actually want to move them into the file for each individual widget. And the reason I want to do that is because if you want to make your own, it's not like you're going to add, it's not like you're going to add to this file, right? You want to be able to just have your own file that has some widget functions in it, right? What these are just the actual things that control the animations and all that for the different widgets. You don't create these manually as the user. You just say draw a button and, it automatically creates the state if it doesn't have one and then uses that to control animations and stuff for the button. How hard are these to theme? They're very easy. I mean, depending, like we don't necessarily have an insane number of theming features, but you can control fonts and colors and stuff. And that's one thing we might do later today is actually theme them. Like work on the themes a little bit. What happened to the triangle color display? That's a different program. Oh, triangle color picker. Oh, so the triangle color picker is still in the game, but I didn't, like the triangle actually isn't that good. So we're going to replace it probably with this one. DRM GUI has when you move sub-windows out of your primary window, it seamlessly transitions it to separate OS window. Okay. That's cool. I mean, I don't know if we want to do that today, and I don't think it should be automatic. Depends on your use case. Is it correct that this only works with simp right now? No, you can, I will show you. So you can pass in, when you import the module, you can pass in this type indicator. And the type indicator has declarations of all, like what's a font and what's a window and all that, right? And if you pass one, where is it? Hold on. Okay, So basically, if you provide those types like window and all this stuff, and then this set of functions, right? Then it'll work with anything, right? Well, except I need to take this assert out. It's just because I haven't tested it yet that this assert is in here. So it's not tested, but it's being structured that way. And in fact, like this is modeled after. So what simp itself does already is it does this same thing with graphics backends where it'll default to this GL backend that we ship. But if you tweak the settings, you get something else, right? Or, you know, you can give it something else. And that was very successful. So here we're doing the same thing. Okay, let me warm up that pizza. I'm going to need brain cells functioning in order to do what we want to do today, which is going to be, oh, well, let's, okay, so I was talking about, I maybe want to put all these state structures in the individual widget files, then they're more plug and play, right? However, like this thing here, where we have a bunch of hash tables, that was just a very lazy balls way that I did it. I feel like I want to change this to not have one table per widget type. So right now, every widget, you call the function, it's like, okay, I'm a button. What do I do to draw a button? I need to get my button state. So it says find or create state. And you pass it the table explicitly. Let's show you. Right here. So we come into the function, we get our hash, we say, let's find or create a state from the table button, which is this one, right? And then, you know, we stop using the state later. And what is that? What does that mean? Well, I mean, it's just, so the button state struct is just one of these. It's off the screen, but, you know, it's something like this that has some fields that tracks our animations over time. Now, why is it a separate table? There's not really a specific reason for that. It just was easy because I want this to be strongly typed is basically the thing. I want to be able to say find or create state and the type that it returns is a button state. But honestly, I actually could just pass that in. So I think I want to do that. I think I want to centralize this into one hash table. And we pass that in. And then some things are going to have to change besides that because one or two people like iterate over specific hash tables. But we could fix that anyway. Okay, let me get the T. Any other questions about what's going on here before we start changing this stuff around? No questions? How are people doing today as I fill the time while the water is boiling? Have we got any other widget type planned? I mean, we want to just do the sub window and the text display thing for now, and then, I don't know, after that. Is there a combo box kind of thing? Yeah, we showed that a minute ago. Pizza's still good. It's the magic of pizza is that it's still good after you've had it for days. The tables map widget IDs to states. Yeah, basically. The widget ID is a hash that's put together from the calling site and an optional additional identifier. So like if you're making 15 buttons in a loop, the calling site for all those buttons is the same. So you want to differentiate them from each other so you have an additional integer. Yum, 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 yum. How much time do I think it'll take to rewrite the compiler? It's just not even on the roadmap right now. We'll do it at some point, but I don't know how long it'll take. I don't really care. I don't think it necessarily takes super long to do a literal transcription of the compiler, and maybe that is the best thing to do initially, is just transport it over. And then, because, if you do a literal transcription, you're not really using the features of the new programming language, right? So then you would want to make it nicer. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. What is the underlying API used? Right now we are using OpenGL. That's not necessarily a good idea. It's just how we started. But all this code is portable to other APIs. If you don't do the translation, yeah, it's just how hard do you want to make the job, right? Sorry, I'm sending an email real fast. Can I show how you pass in module params? Well, it's after the import. So you basically this one doesn't do it, but you would just say like parentheses, you know, foo equals 5 or whatever right there. It looks a little bit like a function call attached to the import. How long would it take to develop the game without the custom engine and stuff? We don't know how long it would take to develop the game with all the stuff because it's a giant ass game and we're not done yet. So, yeah. We'll see. Do we run on macOS? No. No, we're taking the strategic decision to do macOS later just to focus. We're going for quality, higher quality on fewer platforms, right? And then we'll ship macOS later. And, you know, probably at this point, since macOS switched to ARM, we'll probably only do like new Mac, right? He managed to get macOS working again. That's cool. Then the Mill's second. I don't think Mill is second. If I don't have a hardware to run tests on, it's not second. Okay, so let's try refactoring these tables. Let's say a state table is going to be a table from U64 to oh, dude. These are all in the hash table by value, which is one way that we avoid allocating things, right? So I have this question. Even if I make one table, where does like the memory for these come from? Am I just going to do heap allocation for now? We could. We could do that. Blah. I kind of don't like it. What alternatives do I have? We could actually dynamically create the hash tables themselves. I just realized though, okay, so maybe we're just going to use heap allocation for now. And the reason is because if we want to return any of these state structs to the user so that they can use them, it's useful. We're using the word use a lot. It's useful if they're not going to like move behind your back because you just happen to draw another button or something, right? So we're going to do this. We're going to go, this is a table to active widget, pointer to active widget. It's called state table. And we're going to say find or create state. And that's not even going to take a table argument. It's going to take a type that is known at compile time. All right. And we're going to return a pointer to that type. And we're going to tell you whether it is newly created. That's fine. Okay. So there's weird things to think about here. Like what if there's a hash collision? So I want to give it a compare function. Actually, no. We want right. Yes, we can give it a compare function. Okay. Let's do that. So when we make this hash table, this is going to be compare active widgets. Okay, what is that? Well, wait, why does our compare function take keys? Oh, that's not the right compare function that we want. Right. That's a key compare function. We actually want a value compare function. Let's just put an incomplete there. We probably should handle this in some reasonable way. We don't return tuple object values. That's correct, because if you return tuple object values, you're relying on the compiler to optimize that away. And we do not want to rely on the compiler to optimize that away for such a common operation. Returning stuff from functions happens every function. It's a bridge too far. What about visual editor for the eye? We do not have such a thing right now. We might at some point. It's hard to make complex UI without it. I disagree. Okay. So we've got a state table. We're not going to do compare active widgets. Find or create state is going to be state table. So if p dot widget type is equal to t, else I don't know what we should do here. I mean, I guess we need like a table find all question mark. So right, so right now if you add multiple values with the same key to a hash table, we just return you the first one. That's how it's built. If multiple values are added with the same key, we return well, yeah. We return the first match if you think you might have hash collisions, key collisions. If you think you might have key collisions, use table find multiple. I don't know. Okay, table find multiple. Okay, we return empty array. We do the hash. We start probing. We're going to say results is an array of table.valueType. We're going to say results.allocator equals temporary allocator. Well, let's just give that. Okay, so results.allocator is temporary allocator. If we compare, we array add results entry.value. Okay, and then return results. It's almost exactly the same code. Added table find multiple, a routine you can call to find multiple entries when you may have hash collisions. When you may have key collisions. Because I don't want to say hash collisions because it's a hash table. It has its own hash collisions. It's a separate thing. Okay. So we'll just use this and assume it works, and we'll see what happens. So this is a little bit scary. I'll just put a note here. Table find multiple uses temporary storage each time, and maybe we are burning through a lot if you draw a lot of widgets, so we might want to do a thing where we only call table find multiple if we encounter an unexpected result. We will almost never actually see collisions. Okay. Table find multiple in state table for hash. Okay. If found, for found, if p in found, okay. We need to handle collisions though, because what if there's usually a collision between a button and a text equipment? Okay. We don't even need that. We just go, we look through everything we found. If it's the right widget type, we return, oh, and we need to cast up. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to say state is new of t. Table add. Okay. Something like that. Oh, look at all the, oh, well, these guys are trying to use tables that I commented out. So that is not surprising. Oh, and that's all the errors that we see. But maybe that just means we never are calling find or create state. So let me go through all these now. Now it's, we put the type in here. Why is there an equals here? Whoops. I deleted the wrong thing. Hash. Okay. What are some other things? Slidable slider. Slider. Slider state. Slidable region. There's so many other text input. $243. So yeah, that's just the widget. No temporary allocator. P. I know. So we return back the pointer just in case. Add pointer stability. Okay. Table checkbox. Oh yeah, checkbox. Find or create state. Checkbox state. Table color picker. Find or create state. Color picker state. Number input. Number input state. Okay, scrollable region. Okay, so now we have these couple other things. Undeclared identifier, temporary allocator. Did I import? Yeah. Just put a basic on there. Okay, array add. Okay. Table text input. This is a thing where we're scanning over all of the stuff. For, this is called state table now. If it.widget type is not equal to text input continue. Table text input. Who else is doing that? Oh yeah. Find state for text input. Oh my God. Okay. No, you know what? Let's do that. Okay. All right. Oops. Oh, because we're using... Right, let's not do that. Okay. Great. We have all our widgets. They all work. Oh, wait. No, they don't all work. I cannot start texting. These work. This works. These buttons work. I can adjust the RGBs. But pressing... So I guess this find state for text input doesn't work. Definitely we're finding the old states because these crossfades are working, right? If we weren't finding them, we would be... Oh, scroll bar doesn't work. Okay. Like I can't like grab it. So something is going a little bit haywire. How does active widget look like? It is very simple. I guess it's inactive. It's just these things. So there's a type tag, there's a couple of like hooks for like, what do you do if somebody else becomes active, right? What do you do when there's an event? Even that deactivate proc maybe doesn't need to be there. Honestly, we could just check that separately. That might be a thing that we think about doing, is getting rid of this deactivate proc. Anyway, could deactivate be an event? I don't know. I need to think about it. I don't want to overcomplicate things. Right now, event right there is literally the event type of whatever your system events are. Like whatever your input module is that you're using. So adding an additional event type into there is maybe not the best. That said, maybe it's necessary if you want to be strictly serial about things. How do you do the clipping? We use scissor rectangle. Every widget is using active widget. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Okay. So I need to figure out why this didn't 100% work. 90% worked, or 60% of the time it works every time. What then happened here? Sending another email. Is $T active widget needed? Where? Here, the finder create state. You could do that. Right? Oh, whoops. Sorry. Right. That doesn't work here, actually, because this is... that construction only goes in the type slot, which is here. So you can't actually say that. What you could do is you could put a static assert down here somewhere if you cared. If you don't, if you try to pass something weird, the error you're going to get is type mismatch error down here, because the type of the table will not be correct. Yeah, I mean, you could put a modify. That would work as well. Okay, I need to figure out what in the scrollable region, for example. Oh, it's a good thing we added that pointer stability because we're actually encouraging people to do this, which technically was wrong before. It was wrong. Let me just say, I just want to print this out. We have a couple scrollable regions, but I feel like that's going to be going haywire for some reason. It's making a new one literally every time. That seems bad. The hashes are stable, as you would expect. It's just we're just spewing these things out. So, why is that? Okay. So we're just going to run this for a little bit, and then we'll just put a breakpoint down there. Actually, oh man, can't get it T because the debug info doesn't understand that because it's a static variable. Oh, but we're in begin scrollable region. Anyway, let me just, because we know we're going to make one every time. Why scrollable regions? I don't get it. Oh, because we don't set the type correctly. Okay. See, we have to do this. And I bet that's true on text input. Oh, no? So I don't know what text input's problem is. Maybe scrollable region was resetting things. Anyway, what we can do is we can assert state.widget type is equal to T. Honestly, like, let's just not even do it there. Like, I thought I was being fancy by doing it in here, but it's not really the right place to do it. Just put the procs in, and we'll fill out the widget type when we make it. It's better. Okay. All right. Now we are no longer spamming, and the scroll bar works. Yay. I still can't start editing text, though. Which probably means I broke the thing about finding the text input. One of those two things. Okay, hold on. Let's delete this. Okay. Now what? the problem with rearranging all your files is you don't remember where anything is anymore. So there's two things that we did. One was on text input at the bottom here. So it could be this. We're going to do cowabunga oriented programming. And that's not the problem. You know what? We'll just break in the breakpoint. We will there's this function called search for activating event. Check for activating event. Oh, we're not even calling that. Oh, except there's two overloads of it, right? Wait, my breakpoint. Dope. All right. How am I hungry again? I just ate a giant piece of pizza. Oh. It's probably here. For state table. Do we ever get we never get? What is going on with this? Oh, we have a control M in the file, guys. Or something. Okay. Ugh. Wait, why is it typing into the value field? Oh, I'm in the watch window. Type info struct. It what's it called? Now I'll just do this button state, a lot of button state, scrollable regions, text input state. Oh God, guys. Okay. There is the wrong type. We have a text input and a text input state. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, very good. Very good. Do I ever use the bytecode debugger? It is, on rare occasions I do use it, but really not very often. Like, I don't think I've used it in at least a couple of months. It's really just there for when you don't have an alternative. Like here, this is not a bytecode debugging thing because it's an executable. It's a runtime executable, so it doesn't come into play. Okay. Now that we have done that, we'll commit and we'll say GetRect state table refactor modules hash table has a find multiple. That actually kind of bums me out because I don't like, oh, dang it, other people have been working on the compiler. I actually don't like adding code to core data structures like that. Oh, whoops. So I also was working on other stuff on the compiler last stream, and I don't want to check that in. Okay, good. Now we can, here we can put all these states into each individual widget file, and then you could just delete entire widget files from the distribution unless they're core. Like a lot of people use button, so that would be a problem. But like if you didn't want, you know, drop downs, you could just delete drop down, I think. Anyway. Let's try it. Ah. What is column button? What? I think that might have been speculative, right? Oh, yeah. Title bar state, that's also speculative. All right. Text input. Let's make sure this still compiles. Yay. Scrollable region. Slidable region. Drop down. No, number input. Module. Color picker. And text display is not even a thing right now. I had gotten further on this than I thought. Anyway, so now we have a common state table. And I think we could do this. So I think those are not a thing. Yeah. Cool. So I could add a new file, sub window. I'm just going to call it sub window right now. And I'm just going to do that. I'm going to delete that because who even knows what that is. And we handled the collision. Let's alphabetize so that people know. Slider. Or should we be like the people who sort their books by color and sort by how long the strings are? Okay. It was pretty good. I do not have complaints. You sort by length? Yeah, I'm just not sure. Like, it looks better sorted by length. Absolute agreement there. It's just if I want to enable people to just delete stuff, like one of the ideas is, hey, maybe you copy whatever version of GetRect you want, and then you just go. I mean, I guess you would search for the thing anyway. I don't know, man. We'll leave it like this and see how we feel about it later. Let's go to system as well. Okay. See, it makes me a little bit nervous on the one hand because I'm trying to keep the code simple, and the stuff that we've added lately, there's like more system-y stuff, which is why I even split off system. It used to be in GetRect, just the module file had everything that wasn't widgets. And now it's like, well, there's these other things. But all these things are really simple right now, right? So here's state. It's half comments, right? Themes, well, that's pretty long, but it's all these data structure declarations with like colors. Pop-ups, that's the thing we wrote the other day. It's literally this big. Occlusion, that's a little bit bigger, but it's like more than one screen, but not that much more. You know, common text input, that's small. Active widgets, that's almost one screen. So this isn't that much stuff really, but you know, the code is growing. That's what happens. Okay. Going to add that file. We're going to, for sub window, it's going to be something kind of like this, where we say begin and end sub window, right? And it like scissors for you. I'm just going to start because I kind of want to go to lunch, even though I ate a giant pizza. How long has our stream been going? An hour and a half. It's a shorty stream, right? Okay, so I guess we should put the themes in the widget files separately as well, right? Like the stuff that everybody uses can be here, but like, I don't know, this can go in button. Okay, here's the thing. There's like an overall theme. What's it called? Panel theme, which we're probably going to change that name. That was custom to the old editor. I guess if I wanted you to delete files very easily from this, you would have to drop data structure definitions out of it. Or maybe that's a reason to keep the themes separate. See, I'm really divided on this. On the one hand, if I want to be like, hey, just delete the drop-down file, and then you don't have to have drop-down code being compiled. If you don't want to drop down, that's fine. But then stuff like this, there's like a drop down theme. But if we if this out, we could say, hey, there's a module parameter that controls what even gets compiled, and this gets ifed out if that's turned off. However, what if you want to save and load this from a file? like maybe it's better to just save all the crap. Or maybe the reason you want to remove some things is so you don't save all the crap. I never know what decisions to make sometimes. You know what I mean? This one, I don't really know how this one shakes out. Was the pizza breakfast? It was a brecca lunch, which is something that is kind of breakfast and kind of lunch, but is distinct from brunch. You need to define your metrics. We need to synergize success. Is removing it from compilation really a huge win? It's not a super huge win, no, but if you're talking about like forking your own private copy of the thing and then thinking about what code do I really depend on and what code do I really have to maintain, then deleting these files is actually useful, right? Like if you're going to put this thing in a vault and say, I need this to keep running for like 20 years, then, you know, and adapt to whatever system adaptations I need to make, right? Cutting down the amount of code that you need to ensure compiles correctly is a little bit useful, probably. Like I always feel like one of my biggest problems is just how goddamn much code there is, right? So like enabling there to be less code, I think is good. It's called brunch. No, brunch is a very different thing. There are no mimosas at brecca lunch. No mimosas at brecca lunch. Break a leg lunch. That's a Hollywood lunch. If everything is made so you can delete files, it should also align so that you can easily add files. Yes, I think so. And I mean, I think we're still working that out. So one of the big stories of object-oriented programming, right, is, look, you can just extend things and you have extendability, and that's how software becomes modular, and insert whatever good words you want. And we know at this point that it didn't really work out that way, right? The problem being that in factoring things in this way, you create a lot of complication, right? So the question is, what can we do from a language level to support things being as extensible as possible and modifiable as possible, without necessarily adding a lot of structural weight? Like what can we do, right? And so that'll be interesting. Advising functions, I don't know what those are, but I'm sure they're great. Table find multiple returns an array of values right now, but my values in this case are pointers, right? I'm just storing pointers in the hash table. Okay, well, let me just do a little bit of stuff here. This is sub window. So you call begin sub window, it gives you back this sub window state. You call end sub window with that same state. And you can pass the themes and all this stuff. Okay, so let's make a sub window theme. And the question is like, what do we even put in here? We need a title. So instead of scroll bar nib, we'll put title bar. Whoops. And we're just going to use a button theme there. So there's definitely scroll bar specific things that we don't want. This can go up next to the margin things there. Okay, so I'm just copying the colors for now. We'll fill those out later. Background color. Yeah, so we're just going to start with this. And we're going to see what else we need as we go on. We're just going to make sure this compiles for now. Okay, well, we don't have a sub window right now. We're going to want the function to do a little bit of extra stuff. Like I guess the sub window state can give you information back, like did they move it? Did they raise it to the top? Should we handle sub windows for the people? That's a question. Like, do I want the example program to like, do you maintain window ordering like you do in Windows? Maybe. And then do I want the user program to do that? Maybe not, because it's convenient to provide that. I mean, it's pretty simple. You just do it. The reason to maybe let the user program do it is because then they can modify it in weird ways and it doesn't, it doesn't involve complicated coordination with the module code. Should theme be something like what I do for @ shortcuts in Sokoban? I don't know what you mean. I'm not sure what you are suggesting. Is this going to be standard module? Well, there's not really standard modules in this language exactly. This is code that we give out to people, yes. We already do. All the beta users get this, every beta. Are the people ready to handle sub windows? That's a good question. Register structs is theme and have them be inside of. Oh, you mean like for a theme editor? Yeah, I mean, that's just something we haven't thought of right now. Right now, the themes are just structs that you just fill in the values, right? And we'll provide probably a few default themes. You know, are we going to make a theme editor later? Probably. Like that would be a fun use of this widget set itself to make a theme editor, right? Like, so this sample program right now, it's just like some random widgets and stuff, right? And, you know, we probably should have a program that's literally every widget just to test, but this isn't like a real program trying to do something real, right? What we could do is we could make a program that's like, you know, here's all the widgets. And by the way, you're editing the colors of all of them and then saving out the theme, right? That would be cool. And then other people could use the theme. But, you know, that's not where we're at yet. Although, honestly, maybe that's what this program needs to become, right? Because at some point, like early on when you're making a little widget set thing like this, you know, it's fine. You make some buttons, you make some labels. It's like whatever, right? You're just doing some things. But at some point, it behooves you to have a real application in mind. And I guess, you know, porting this over to the game will also provide that. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to I'm not going to do the sub window right now. Like I said, I want to go to lunch, but let's just make the example. We're just going to call that widget, right? We're just going to say before draw pop-ups. And when we write this code, we're just going to have this program manage some list of sub windows, right? And then we'll see if it makes sense to move that internally, right? So for now, oh yeah, we're going to need to add that to the default panel theme. We're going to have to rename panel theme. Let me put that on the to-do list. Okay. Oh, I forgot that. Oh, but actually, we don't forget that because sub windows is a good way to check liveness and occlusion because you can see if you're over the thing by putting a window in front very easily. Okay. Sub-windows. Let's just say begin sub-window R. I don't know what the rect is going to be yet. Theme. I don't know why. Oh, that's for the scroll bar. Yeah, we don't need these. And honestly, you shouldn't have to pass the theme. You put that there. And sub window doesn't need a theme parameter, and scrollable region doesn't need a theme parameter. Those are simple cleanups to do. Okay, where is this sub window going to be? Right now, we're just going to pick a totally random location. And I have no idea where that is on the screen, and I don't care yet. Okay, so we need to put sub window theme, right, on here. Let's alphabetize this. Look at all the fun things. I just wanted to go to lunch, and I keep finding things. Okay. I don't think we need to call these underscore theme. I think we can just say button checkbox, right? But we'll do that later. That's also spammy. Okay, not all control paths return a value. Oh, find or create state, sub window state and hash. Return state and R. In interior. And we're just going to set that to be the exterior, right? Okay. End window, that's the wrong name. End sub window, there we go. Okay. Why did we assert? UI per frame update. State stack. Oh, sorry guys. This is new. I just added it yesterday. Stop using state. I just added it yesterday. There we go. Okay, good, good, good. Sub window literally draws nothing, so it's not like you can tell where it is. And we'll go into that and actually do that later. I just wanted to get the plumbing in there. Add sub window widget state. What? Okay. what did we do exactly? Move state structs into individual widget files. Let me actually tell the people about that too. Refactored state struct declarations into individual widget files to get closer to a situation where people can just delete files for widgets they don't use. Yes, and so later we will do sub-window and so forth. Is there strict aliasing? What there is we encourage you to pass things in a way that we know they do not get modified. It's a little bit different from what you're used to as the idea of strict aliasing, but there is a language semantic feature that is a little bit similar. Okay, let me put it this way. The design of it is directly about that issue of like, how do you naturally minimize the number of aliasing problems that you have in your programming language? So, yeah. Are these for use in any specific graphics API? You can use them with whatever graphics API that you want. There's no real reason that those two things should be tied together any more than absolutely necessary. Yeah. Does this work on Windows 95? We do only support 64-bit CPUs. So you'd need a Windows 95 on a 64-bit CPU, which you may have trouble finding. Certain immediate GUIs are specific for graphics APIs. Yeah, I know. It's just not good. Basically, we just give you... So, you know, I can go back and show this stuff again. It's not totally done in this. So there's actually... There's a different thing that we work on here called SIMP that's like a simple, slightly higher level way of drawing graphics when you don't want to be too picky, right? And that works with different backends. And then here we're building out the same thing. It's just like it's not totally done. But the idea is just you can actually provide even the types of like what's a font and what's a texture map and stuff, right, are pluggable. And then these are the only functions that this thing needs in order to draw the whole UI, right? It needs like, how do I set and clear the scissor, right? How do I set a couple of very specific shaders? How do I draw text? How do I draw a triangle? How do I draw a quad, right? And as long as you can give it these things, you can plug this into whatever API you want, right? Is 64-bit a temporary limitation? I don't know. We'll see. Like, I feel like a lot of embedded systems by the time we're done are going to be 64-bit anyway. Maybe that's not accurate. We'll see. It's just knowing how big pointers are and all these things is a large simplifier, right? But, you know, MCUs will not be 64-bit for ages. Well, then we probably have to do 32-bit at some point. How does it draw the color picker? Using these functions right here. So for example, so when you see the color picker, let's make it, oh, well. So like this stuff here is a tessellated disk, so it's drawing triangles. Same out here. It's a bunch of triangles. We can go see. That's not that's the slider. That's the rectangle. So there's 100 segments in this circle. If you look really close, you could probably see them. But like 100 is pretty round, right? Like that's 3.6 degrees per line segment. So yeah, that's the thing is, it really doesn't take that many functions in order to be able to do a wide variety of stuff. Create the triangles on the CPU, yes. Like for 100 triangles, it's actually 200, right? So it's like 100 points on the outside and then the inside, and you take each set of 4 points and you make a quad between them. So it's 2 triangles or a quad, right? Maybe we do quads. Either way. The quads actually on our back end that we're using right now get turned into triangles anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, like 100, 200 triangles, it's just not something a game developer is going to sweat about. How's immediate flush? That might be something that we're going to take out of the API. What typically you would flush, like you're just saying, here's a lot of triangles. And if you say flush, it's like, okay, go draw those while I do this other stuff. But you probably need to flush anyway when I say switching shaders and whatever. So it might be mostly a redundant function, actually. To draw a rounded rectangle, they malloc 1 by 1 each point to free it just after the call. Well, you know, people have different ways of doing things. It would be nice to make a little theme editor, though, because then we could have actual nice-looking themes. Some of these widgets look a little bit nice locally. So like these colors are kind of nice. These, they're okay on their own, but like, these, but like together it's like, bleh, right? And then some of these are ugly, like these are ugly on their own. So just coming up with themes where it's better would be good. Are we redrawing the whole UI every frame? No, we do redraw the whole UI every frame right now. Long term, it's pretty easy to do a dirty rectangle kind of situation. It's just I don't care about that right now. I'm thinking more about the structure of the UI and whatever. Well, we have window docking. Dude, I hate window docking in everything that I've ever used it in, so probably not, unless someone wants to do it. Like, I would have to design a window docking system that isn't complete ass, and I've never seen one. It's what immediate mode generally does. Yeah, but there's a lot of things that people generally do with immediate mode that are not optimal, right? So like in this, one of the things about this UI is we went in and we did like nice color transitions and fades and stuff here, which it just makes it feel a little bit better. Mostly people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't keep backing state for the widgets and, you know, whatever. So it just feels slightly more nice than if we hadn't done that. I just said we don't do dirty rectangles right now. We do not. We could, but we do not. Can you get a unique identifier from a call location? Yes, you can. And we use that actually in this API. Okay, so maybe next stream we will actually make subwindow do something. Etc. Lunch editor. Yes. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about going to lunch, which I'm going to do. Short stream. It was just 2 hours, but we did some good restructurings on the things. That was nice. I thought those restructurings might actually take longer, but they didn't. So win-win. Do we use non-pixel alignment for anything? You know, I'm a little bit haphazard about pixel alignment right now. So I probably do. Like for fonts and stuff, we're very careful to draw them snap to pixels because you don't want them, you don't want like the aliasing coming out wrong or something. Yeah, the problem is if things move and you pixel align things, you'll see jitter all over the place, right? All right. Thanks, everyone. See you later.